Greg Hunter, Blue and Gold News.
So, Bob, I know Matt Park has a specific game he wants to ask you about from your senior year, but I just want your memories of Syracuse, maybe coaching against Boeheim all those times in the Big East. Anything special jump out to you?
Well, obviously their zone. He does such a great job of changing it up, and when you start to attack a certain area, he does a great job of making adjustments.
Mike Waters, Syracuse Post Standard.
Hey, Coach. In Jim Boeheim's second game ever as the head coach at Syracuse, he lost a game to West Virginia, and you were a senior on that team. I was wondering if you recall anything about that game, and if that result has come up a few times over the years when you talk to Jim.
Every time I see him, I bring it up. He doesn't want to talk about it. But yeah, that was a big comeback for us. We were down and made a big run at the end.
John Antoni, WVUsports.com.
Hey, Hugs, getting back to the 2-3 zone, how is it different than when you faced them in the Big East days, or even when you played, and what makes it so difficult to attack them?
Well, he does a great job of making adjustments. It's not they just don't stand in like your typical 2-3 zone. They raise the wings, they sink the wings, they change how they're going to play the middle guy. They'll pressure you, then they won't pressure you. They'll try to gap everything. I mean, he's the foremost authority on the 2-3 zone.
JB said before you got on here that when the ball enters the middle, it becomes like a matchup. Is that what they try to do, and do different things where the ball goes?
Well, it's got a lot of man-to-man principles when ball's in the middle of the floor, for sure.
Yeah. And last thing on that, length is another issue with that, right? Particularly on the wings, try to force you out.
Length and athleticism. They got a lot of guys on that back line that have a lot of bounce.
Thanks.
Matt Park, Syracuse Radio Network.
Hey, Coach, I know you go back with Bo many, many years, and the family. Even Buddy was just telling the story. I think it was the 6 overtime game, and you're back in the locker room at Madison Square Garden. When you coaches are talking on these Nike trips and that kind of thing, how do you talk about this kid that he didn't have to recruit, and Bo's kids out here killing everybody with 30 points?
I remember when he was a little kid. I mean, a little kid. And I don't think there was any doubt he was going to end up being a player. He's terrific. He's got to be, if not the best, one of the best shooters in college basketball. I think he got it all from Julie, though. I don't think he got a bit of it from Bo.
Greg Carey, Metro News.
Bob, you talked last night about Derek Culver going a little too fast in the opening half and slowing down in the second half. Inevitably, he's probably going to get a lot of bodies around him when he's able to get it in close tomorrow. So how do you kind of prevent him from going too fast again?
I just think it was, our guys were so anxious. I think we had one guy maybe on the whole team that had ever played in an NCAA tournament, maybe none. And, the deal last year was hard on everybody. It was particularly hard on them. We made a really good run at the end of the year to put ourselves in great position to not just get in a tournament, but have a halfway decent seed. And then all of a sudden the rug's pulled out from under you and they say the season's over with. And it hit our guys really hard. And I think that's, I think Derek wanted to do so well that he kind of really rushed things and got kind of out of sorts and then frustrated. then frustrated, and I think the frustration kind of boiled over a little bit, but he's good to go. I think he got that's over with, out of the system, and I think he'll be ready to play.
Greg Hunter, Blue and Gold News.
So Bob, back to some Syracuse memories. Any particular game that jumps out to you coaching wise?
Yeah, we won the game. Maurice got fouled. There was a timeout. Coach Gardner said, go to the line. I went to the line and the guy said, you're not the shooter. I said, yeah, I am. He goes, I don't know who is, but it wasn't a white guy. So Maurice stood up there and made 2 free throws and we won.
John Tony.
I got another one here about their defense. The shooting percentages, the opposing shooting percentages are low, but yet they're giving up about the same amount of points that you guys are this year. How do you reconcile those numbers? How are they giving up 70 a game, yet teams are shooting 31% from 3 and 41% from the floor?
I can't speak for them. I don't know. I haven't. I mean, obviously, all through last night and this morning, I've been watching film, but I don't. That's a question that Bo would have to answer. I mean, I know why we give up so many points, but I couldn't even take a stab at what they're saying and what they feel.
A follow-up from Greg Hunter.
So Bob, just the short turnaround for a team that plays a somewhat unusual defense. I don't think you played a guy that plays zone as much as this. So how hard is the one-day turnaround in this situation?
Well, I think it'd be a lot harder if we couldn't surround the zone with 4 guys that are all very capable of making shots. You know, I think that's. I think because we play 4 guys that can make shots for really the majority of the game, and then it helps Derek. It isolates Derek in there a little bit more, although we didn't get him isolated much the other night. But then again, we made shots from the perimeter, and you know, it's kind of pick your poison. Are you going to come out and extend it and try to keep those guys from making shots, or are you going to sag back in there and try to keep Derek from scoring in a low post?
Justin Jackson, Morgantown Dominion Post.
Hey, Coach. I thought it was kind of interesting, the format that the NCAA is using this year, in the terms that no team will play on the same court twice, I guess, maybe until the later rounds. But, I mean, obviously you guys played in the big, huge football stadium last night, and now you're moving to a different arena. Just kind of wondering what your thoughts are on that, you know, if it's even a big issue at all.
No, it's kind of like Hoosiers, you know. You do take the old tape measure out there and say, yeah, it's still 10 feet. Let's measure the free throw line, make sure it's right, and then you go play. What did he say? I think it's exactly the same distance to the foul line, and the rim is exactly the same height as it was back in Hickory.
Right.
That's probably holds true for the practice facility in the Coliseum as well.
Do you like that movie?
Did I like it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
John Antoni.
Along what Justin asked, are you going to get into the facility and get some shots up in the place you're going to play in tomorrow?
No.
So you'll see it the first time you get there.
I believe it's the place we played Gonzaga.
Gotcha. Thanks.
It's the place that, you know, we were a block charge call away from maybe upsetting the number 1 ranked team.
Questions for Coach Huggins, please use the raised hand feature. We have our next question is from Kevin Kinder, Blue and Gold News.
The trap the team has to avoid falling into is just thinking it's going to shoot over the zone, but you still got to move it. You still got to attack it, try to split the guards, maybe go high-low, things like that.
No, we won't have a problem with that. I mean, we obviously we have to make shots, and I can't guarantee you we're going to make shots, but we've played them, not these guys, but we've played them a lot of times. And I think that coach has done a great job of changing things up. They're not like they used to be. They throw a lot more at you now than what they did back in the Big East days.
Greg Carey, Metro News.
Coach, one of their backup guards, Kadari Richmond, I think is one of the top steals rate players in the country. Does the zone change any with his length, particularly when he comes in and he's a lot taller than Gerard, their starting point guard?
The length, I think, has an effect on everything. Be it man, be it zone. Easier to take away passing lanes. But, you know, I mean, hey, they're going to do what they do, and we're going to do what we do, and one of us is going to do it better than the other one.
Back to Justin Jackson.
Coach, obviously a lot of questions about, the old Big East days with this matchup. And just kind of curious. I mean, obviously you guys have found good, really good success in the Big 12 and have become a part of that league. But, do you miss, the old Big East days at all? Nostalgia, or obviously it was easier to travel back then, but, the different teams and coaches and just the way the old Big East was for you guys?
Well, I obviously have a lot of friends that coach or coached in the Big East. Honestly, the travel is the biggest thing. I mean, we were an hour flight from anywhere we needed to go play. Now we're 4 hours away from a place we have to go to. It's a huge difference. I mean, we were getting back, around midnight or before. Now we're getting back at 3, 4 in the morning. It's a huge difference. The travel. I mean, you can't compare the leagues and not say that the travel in the Big East was a lot more conducive to West Virginia than travel in the Big 12 is. And all those coaches say to me, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you I mean, one trip to Morgantown, and they fly 2.5 hours at the most. And they're like complaining about 2.5 hours. I keep telling them, try 4 hours in the plane. The good thing is, we're quarantined here and we're all on the floor, and we're not allowed off of the floor. So, when our guys say anything, I just tell them, would you rather be on a plane for 4 hours? And they all shut up. So that's about the only positive I can give you.
Additional questions for Coach Huggins? Okay, Coach, that's all our questions. Thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.